Today's video is a bit of a combination vlog and recap of what it was like to deliver a baby at a hospital in Vilnius. It's a bit of a niche topic, but hopefully the vlog part will be interesting enough for those who are following along with my life in Lithuania. So it was on a day in late December that my wife started to feel contractions and decided that it was time to go to the hospital as she knew our baby was on its way out. Her facility of choice was Vilnius Gimdymo Namai, known in English as Vilnius Maternity Hospital, located in the southern portion of Vilnius, just across the train tracks. My wife chose to give birth here because it was well reviewed and had a decent reputation. Other than visiting my wife's family members at other facilities, this would be my first time spending an extended portion of time at a Lithuanian hospital. We had some maternity appointments at Santariškės, at some newer buildings and facilities, but other places I've been to seem quite old and dated. The Vilnius Maternity Hospital was definitely one of those types of places. The grounds do look quite run down, and there's a big abandoned and boarded up building on the same property. But perhaps just like the saying about people, it's what's on the inside that counts. We headed to the emergency entrance and were greeted right away. A nurse hooked my wife up to a machine to record contractions and the baby's heartbeat. After a while, we were moved up to the room where my wife would give birth. At this point, I should make it clear that I'm a first-time father without much experience with babies or newborns. I knew that the labor process could take some time, but as somebody now present to witness the process, it felt like forever. I think it was about 8 hours between arriving at the hospital and my wife giving birth to our son. I know for others it can be longer, so I'm not really complaining.
21 hours. You're a hero.
During that time, I was between distracting myself on my phone and comforting and consoling my wife. When it got the most intense, the room was filled with shouts from the doctor. Lithuanian words that I was already familiar with. Labai gerai, stumk, dar viena kartą. That being said, as an observer, it probably wasn't too important for me to fully understand each and every word. My wife was amazing, and the room was eventually filled with the cries of a newborn baby boy. Eventually, we were moved into our private room, and here's what it looks like. 2 beds, a crib, a changing table, and a sink. The toilet and shower were separate. The suite also came with a microwave and a kettle. It was here that we spent 3 sleepless nights. The private room with extra bed cost money, 60 euros per night to be exact. I learned that if it was just my wife and our newborn staying at the hospital, not in a private room, everything would have been pretty much free of charge. Or to be more accurate, covered by the government. This included meals for my wife, although perhaps as a result of being at a public facility, meals were quite basic. I, on the other hand, was on my own when it came to meals. I ordered food delivery twice and then other times lived off of instant noodles and instant mashed potatoes. After 3 days, multiple visits by medical staff for various tests, inspections, and injections, we were cleared to head home. The total bill for that private room was 180 euros. What I'm about to say shouldn't be treated the same as a hotel review, but there are some things that stuck out to me that I think are worth noting. First, it was strange to me that there was no toilet paper or paper towels in the room, even though there were dispensers for both. My wife told me that some places don't include these supplies, and so you have to bring your own. I found that to be a little strange. The other weird thing was that we weren't given any cutlery with the meals that were delivered. I actually just went home and got some of our own stuff while I was doing errands during the daytime. Eventually, close to the final day, one of the workers asked if we needed cutlery for the meal that was delivered to my wife. We didn't need any by then, but it was interesting that they asked at such a late point in our stay. I also noticed later that paper towels and toilet paper had been restocked. So I guess they just provided us an incomplete room. Speaking of the room, it was dated and pretty basic. I don't know what to expect, but my wife tells me that, at least to Lithuanian standards, it was a pretty nice room. No, I wasn't expecting a flat screen TV or a recliner or anything, but it just felt old and run down to me. But let me know what you think based on this video. The service we received from the workers, though, was great, except for having to provide our own cutlery, toilet paper, and paper towels. Again, we could have just inquired about this, but my wife, having a knowledge that it could be normal, didn't want to ask. Ultimately, the stay was comfortable enough, and what truly mattered, the medical care and attention, was just fantastic. When you consider the fact that we only paid 180 euros out of pocket for a private room with 2 beds, it's all quite amazing. Especially when you think that having a child elsewhere in the world could cost a lot more. But from your experience of public Lithuanian hospital facilities, do you think that this matches the common experience? Let me know what you think by leaving a comment. And for the Lithuanian word of the day, let's go with the verb gimti, which means to be born. Gimti. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.